Hi everybody, how are you doing this beautiful day? Here's how I got started with walking in nature and connecting with nature, and how it's helped me so much. And that when I don't do it at least once a week, I feel a little disconnected. So here's what I do, especially on a Saturday. It all started with, I was having a ton of health issues and I had to have surgery. And when you're going through a ton of health issues and you have surgery, the first thing they tell you after you have your surgery to heal, the quickest way to heal is to walk. So I had to walk while in the hospital, I had to walk while I was at home, and even though I was in pain, I still had to get up and walk. Now, it's not to push yourself beyond the point of uncomfortableness, but to push yourself a little bit. Push yourself enough. You know, some days will be good and some days will be bad. So on the bad days, I would just literally go outside my front door, walk up the street, and walk back. And that was all that I could do. And take some Tylenol to help with the pain. So, and that's okay. And then on my good days, I could go around the block. And then it got to a point where I was walking out here with a friend in nature and I just started to have a lot of pain. And I was like, okay, I need some help here because we still have a ways to get back to the car. So I stopped for a minute. I said, can we stop for a minute? And I stopped next to a tree. I didn't care what she thought. I stopped next to a tree and I'm like, okay, tree, can you please heal me? Oh, animal there. I was like, can you please help me heal and release my pain so I can get through the rest of this walk back to my vehicle? And I stood there and I just breathed in the energy. I breathed in the energy of the earth, the tree, and I breathed out the pain and the discomfort. And as I did that, I felt a shift. I felt a shift in my energy. So I was changing the chemistry in my body by just doing that in that moment. And so then, after a few minutes, maybe even 5, I'm not even sure, I said, okay, I'm ready to go. And then we just walked the rest of the way to the car, and I made it all the way back to the car. And it was so empowering. And then I knew that if I come out on these walks and I ask for guidance and I ask for healing, that it will be. And so I breathe in the energy of the earth and I breathe out what I no longer need, because the earth will transmute it into something positive. And even when it came to making decisions, like I would come out to here, like I had a really, really horrible time and I had to make a decision of what I wanted to do. And so I left everything. I even left work. I was like, I gotta get out of here. And I came here and I just walked, put on my headphones. You can listen to nature, but sometimes I need to put music in my head. Good music, of course. And then, so I just walked. And as I was walking, I just observed my thoughts. I observed what was around me. I listened to the music. And I just let myself go through the process. And I was crying my eyes out. I'm not going to talk so loud, so somebody's coming. Hi. Butterflies. Okay. I was crying my eyes out and I literally had to stop and almost drop to my knees, because you know what? I knew what I needed to do. I just didn't want to do it. I was very resistant, super resistant. So, but you know, we always know in our heart of hearts, like what the answer is. It's just that bring yourself to accept it. So I kept walking and I just let it out, you know? And I just let myself feel and I just let myself be. And then I had passed a tree, a particular tree for some reason. And the tree, like literally, I didn't even have a thought. It was just like I saw the tree. I wasn't even thinking. I just walked up to the tree and I hugged the tree. Yes, tree hugger. I don't care. It was just like, it was so, I needed that. I so needed that in that moment. And that's what I get when I'm out here is I get whatever it is that I need in that moment. So in that moment, I needed a hug. There was nobody around, not to mention, if there was, it'd be strangers. And so I just hugged the tree and loved the tree, and then I kept walking. And I said, by the time of this walk is over, can you please give me clarity and just the strength to stop resisting and to just accept what it is that I have to do for me. And that's what I did. I got finished with my walk and I went home and I stuck to what I knew I had to do. And was it easy? No, it was not easy. But it was exactly what I needed to do because that's what started transitioning things to change. Transitioning change in other people, transitioning change in myself. And I put the focus back on me. And so when I come out here, I connect with the divine, loving, healing energy. And I just observe. Like, if I'm just walking, I'm just looking at the plants, looking at what they look like, what they smell like, what they feel like, the squirrel right there on the road. I watch them, I watch their behavior. And then when I see them, I just have so much love for them, you know? And it just makes me feel good. So that way it's like recharging your batteries. I gotta recharge my batteries. Like my kid wanted to come this morning and I'm like, I'll take you later, sweetie, but right now mommy needs to go recharge her batteries. So it's okay to do that. I will definitely take her out later with the dog for a walk. But for this, for me, I need to gather up all of what I need and put it back into me before I can give to anybody else. And that's not always what I've been good at. Like, we tend to not give ourselves the self-care that we need. We're so busy helping other people that we forget, oh yeah, I gotta take care of me. Like, I'm putting out all these things, but am I doing it for myself? No. So it's about taking care of ourselves and knowing that we are worth it too. We are deserving of it. And the more that we can do for ourselves, then the more that we can do for anybody else. Or just put back into our life of where we want to go and who we want to be. So meditation doesn't have to be hard. I mean, I could just stand here and look at a tree. And for example, this one's all covered in vines. And then I just start asking questions in my head. You know, I'm staring at the tree and I'm like, I wonder why it's all covered in vines, you know? Maybe it's something else needing its support to help grow up towards the light, just like, you know, us as light workers are support to others to help them grow towards the light, and maybe they need some guidance to help them get up there. And then once they get up there, then you'll notice that they'll start to branch out because then they're trying to go up and around to the light as well. So they need our support for a ways, and then we set them free, right? You know, and then our self-care is to, there's a squirrel that was in that tree, that's so funny. And then it's about filling ourselves back up and filling ourselves with that light and love and pulling it up from the earth and pulling it down from the sky. And that's what divine energy is. And just feeling the breeze. Like, the breeze is hot today. It's probably like maybe 90 degrees, 89, I'm not sure. But right here, it feels so good because I'm in the shade under the tree. And then the wind is blowing and I feel it against my face, and it's a cool breeze. It's not just like a hot breeze. And it just feels so alive, you know? And then just admiring the trees. And the root systems that they have, I mean, the root systems go deep. How do you think that they withstand the storms when they come? Or, you know, we had a lot of rain here lately, and we had a lot of trees that did come down, but from the saturation of the earth. But look at these other trees. All of these trees, all of them are still standing, you know, and that's because they have a strong root system, a strong foundation, and they have the will to keep reaching towards the light, right? So sometimes when we get into situations, our roots kind of start to shrink up. And then that puts us at a vulnerable place where we can be pushed over, you know? And then when we get pushed over, that's when we need to lean on somebody else for support, like the other trees. When the trees start leaning into the other tree, we lean into somebody else or something else to help keep us upright until we can reroot ourselves. Because you can reroot ourselves. Just because we fall over doesn't mean we're dead. It just means that we've got to work a little bit harder to get back to where we were, and then go even further to build those roots. And that's so important. And I have to remember that as well. It was funny because I had my dentist recently say, she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, you have the shortest roots that I've seen in the front of my teeth. She's like, you really need to get a retainer so that way your teeth don't move out of place, because if they start moving out of place, you're gonna have problems later. So, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so right, because same thing with us. If we don't have the roots in place, we can shift and we can move and we can fall over and we could have problems. So they're all associated because everything is one with each other. We are one with nature. Nature is one with us. So when you get to that point, and this I just got from literally walking in nature, you know, connecting with that divine loving energy, whether it be God, angels, spirit guides, spirit healers, whatever you want to call it. And I got it just from being out here and just asking questions in my head and just listening. And when the thoughts come, it's just basically my own thoughts. It's like I hear my own voice in my head, but it's like they're my own. And that's what makes it beautiful. And look at how pretty this is. You know, make a wish. This thing is so big. I can show you how big it is based on my hand. Let me see. There you go. It's so pretty. And then touch it. Soft. And just look at the symmetry of it, the geometry of it. It's so beautiful. And that's like us in our bodies, like the root system and the branches in the tree. Think of your vein system. Think of your lungs, and you know how they look like? They look like tree branches, tree roots. Same. We're all the same. It doesn't matter what color we are, what religion we are, what anything else we are. We are all the same, even though we have differences externally or mentally. We're all here to learn, to grow, to expand, and to get out of life what we need to get out of it. So your life experiences are going to be different than my life experiences. And that's great, because that's how you learn, and this is how I learn. And I appreciate and respect everybody who has their own belief system, you know? And then recognizing when it's time to let one go. I mean, I have belief systems from back when I was little that I need to work on letting go, for sure. As I'm sure we all do. And sometimes we're not ready to let them go, and that's okay too, because everything is divine timing. Everything happens for a reason. And like for me, I'm stubborn. I'm so stubborn, and I'm learning this, but I'm changing it to a positive. It's no longer I am stubborn. It's I am open to listening to the possibilities of change. So I sometimes need a little bit more time to take that next step, and that's okay, because I will get there. So it's changing that, changing the way we talk to ourselves, because that will invoke and spark change within ourselves and within our body. And so walking in nature and reading cards and just all these like things to help me feel good and to get me past, because like my body stops me with health issues. No joke. I mean, as far as like going septic because my intestines perforated at some point. I mean, like that is how much I was not listening. Like, hey Jen, I'm trying to get your attention. I'm you know, a little nudge here and there, some pains, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I got work to do. I got so much to do. I'm so busy. And at the time I had taken a new position at work. And so I had a lot more responsibilities. Like, I don't have time to listen to any of this. I don't have time to, you know, do any self-care. I've got to just put my foot to the grindstone, put my foot on the gas pedal. I'm just going to go. And I got into trouble because my body tried to warn me. My body tries to warn me in physical symptoms. And sometimes I'm just not paying attention. And then it was like, okay, I've tried. You're asking for help and you're not listening. You're not following your purpose. So what did it do? It stopped me in my tracks. And then what happened was I changed, because I was stopped so hard that I hit my rock bottom. I hit my rock bottom so hard, I didn't want to live anymore. I just wanted to die because I was in so much pain and I was tired of going through what I'm going through and not being able to eat. I will show you guys photos. I used to be 305 pounds. I got down to 150 pounds in about 6 months, and it was not on purpose. I mean, I was trying prior to, and I had lost a bunch of weight that way, but this was forced upon me. I could not eat. I was starving. I was literally starving. But the point of the story is that it forced me to do the things that I needed to do for me, because now I was being told by doctors, you need to walk. You need to get out and walk, even if it's for a little bit. Even after surgery, like literally I'm so sick and I'm spinning and they've got both me on both arms and they're walking me down the hall. Just once. Just because. I'm gonna go this way. So I'm walking down the hall and I'm like, okay, so when I got home, I had to keep doing it. And I was feeling so good at that time. Well, minus the pains. I just felt good being empowered. And then I was able to keep going with it. And when I stopped, because I thought I was done with recovery and stuff. Oh, I wonder if this is poison oak. When I stopped with recovery and stuff, I was like, uh-oh. I stopped walking. And then things started to get bad again. Because I wasn't taking care of me again. So you've got to like keep doing it. Like, even if you can't do it like on an everyday basis, at least once a week, at least a couple times a day, a week, or 5 minutes a day, or whatever it is that you need to do for you. And there's lots of dragonflies out here. Look, here's stagnant water. We always talk about what happens to our bodies when it's stagnant water. Things start to accumulate. You need to have flowing water to get it moving, get it out of here, because last time I was here and the water was flowing, it didn't have any of this growing moss and stuff like that. So that's basically my journey as to how I got out and started walking and started connecting and started feeling and learning to deal with what I'm feeling and remembering to do what I need to do. So for example, it takes 21 days to start a new habit. I started a new habit with Carl Gray's 40-day meditation challenge, and then I've been going ever since. Like, I did that same meditation for 40 days, but then I started a new meditation and then another new meditation, and I've been doing it every day since. So it's like my evening routine, like when you brush your teeth. So when you brush your teeth, you do it because it's a habit. You know it's good, you know you need to take care of your teeth. So after I brush my teeth, I go into the bedroom and I do my meditation, because that is part of what I need to do to help my body keep things flowing, keep things moving, and get the inspiration that I need to get through the next day. Because life's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, butterflies and angels and rainbows all the time. You still have to do the work. You still have to learn. You still have to grow. You still have to be here. So, but when I have those moments, I do something else. I distract myself. I focus on something positive. So the other day I was doing, my stomach started to hurt really bad, and my gut was like, it was just not comfortable. And I was like, uh-oh, here we go. And then I decided, nope, I'm not going to put my attention on that, because where we put our attention is where energy flows. So I'm going to put my attention on my oracle cards, and I'm going to do some card pulls for the collective, and I'm going to post them. And so by the time I got through the second card pull, my gut pain was pretty much almost all the way gone. And by the time I was done, the pain was gone. So I didn't put my focus and fear into what was starting to come up for me. And I just let it flow through me by focusing on what makes me feel good, what makes me feel at peace and one with everything. And to connect to my higher self, my higher power, my inner teacher, which is in my heart center, and get my mind to come into balance and alignment with my heart space. Because a lot of times my head and my ego is like trying to keep me safe, but in doing so, it's pulling me away from my heart, my drive, my purpose, and my love and everything else. So I have to remember to pull it back and get it to work in sync with it. And that's why I also got into QiGong, because QiGong is energy flow like Tai Chi, but it's more of the wellness. And it takes you into the breath, into the meditation, and connecting your body, your mind, and your spirit. So if you can't get out in nature, I would literally take some videos. You can even find them on YouTube. It's QiGong, QiGong. And you just go outside, and I would do it in my bare feet if you're able. If not, it's fine, but I just prefer to be on the earth in my bare feet. And I would go out there and I would just do it. Even if it was, 20 minutes. I think that was like the minimum. When I was going through a lot of problems and anxiety and everything else, I was doing it like 3 times a day because I had to without medicating myself. So that's what helped ground me and help me find my flow and find a lot of my wants and needs and self-care and get me through the hard times. And that way I get through the harder times quicker, instead of going into the depression state of like, oh, here we go again. I'm going to be like this for however many days. And even if it lasts me 3 days, I can still take the time to distract me with the positive and not put so much focus on the negative. And like, let's say I can't go outside and walk and do the things that I love. What can I do from my bed that allows me to do something that makes me feel good? And that's exactly what I did. And I had nights of insomnia. So when I had nights of insomnia, what did I do? I just basically watched YouTube videos like ASMR, Reiki videos, sleeping videos to help me at least relax my mind, relieve the stress, relieve the anxiety, because my adrenals were just being overworked. And I was in constant fight or flight mode and constant emotional status because I was just overwhelmed from not having enough sleep after surgery. And that was all triggered from probably the medications during surgery. And it took me several months to get through that. And I still have some relapses sometimes with the brain and sleeping at night, but it's been pretty good. Only a few hiccups here and there. And I just know that I can get through these moments so much better when I'm focused on something else positive. And I learned so much from nature, as you can see. And they can teach us, that there's different paths. Like I have a path here, or I have a path over there. And it's like, which path do I want to take? Neither one of them's incorrect. I mean, who's to say that one's correct, and who's to say that one's correct? Either one could be correct. It's whatever I want for me, what I need for my growth. And if I make it down a path and I'm like, I don't really like this path so much, maybe I should go back to the other one, or maybe I should take a turn and go elsewhere. that is totally your prerogative. Don't let anybody else convince you otherwise, because you are following your path and not somebody else's path. And that's where I got into a bit of a mess, and I still do to this day, is I listen to other people's thoughts, opinions, and beliefs, and then I let it mix with mine, and then I get confused on whose is it? Which way do I need to go? When I really should just trust my initial instincts and go with what I felt I needed to do, because that's what my soul needed. Okay? So I know this was kind of like a long rant, and I'm not even sure if anybody's going to make it to the end, but what I've learned is if I'm speaking and I go back and listen to it to myself, does it help me? Does it help my soul? And it does. Every single time I've recorded something and I go back and listen to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I so needed to hear that, and I needed to hear it again. Because sometimes we need to hear things more than once in order for it to sink in. And also, it's super empowering when you're able to learn something on your own and put it into play on your own. Because then you feel like enlivened and empowered, and you've taken your power back, and and it just helps you keep moving forward. Make your dreams bigger than your fears. It is possible, and it may not happen right away. It's okay if you took a little step and you went, oh my gosh, scary, I'm gonna take a moment. That's totally fine too. Just take a breath, regroup yourself, then move forward. Sometimes we got to reroot ourselves, just like when the rain comes and it loosens up our roots and the ground gets kind of mushy and things start not feeling so in place. Take a moment, let the ground start to get more solid, let your roots start to grow deeper and thicker, and then go forward. So that's an important step of self-care as well. All right, so I'm going to head back, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. Love always and forever. Bye for now.